something that you talk about in the book is this sort of like secret black market nuclear trade going on in this region, and I want to get into one guy in particular who I find fascinating, who's AQ Khan, Abdul Qadir Khan, and he went from a respected scientist in the Netherlands to the most infamous smuggler in nuclear history.
Yes.
Tell me the story of how that happened.
Oh, Lord. He, was, working, I think, in, uh, Holland, for Philips, and, he found that if only he could sell this stuff that he was working on, he could make, $1,000,000. He was working on a uranium enrichment, scheme, called, centrifuge. Centrifuge was an old idea. In fact, it was used by the Germans during World War II for their bomb program, which didn't get anywhere, but it was still an interesting idea. We had the fusion and the magnetic e- enrichment facilities, which worked great, but this was even better if only you could do it. Well, we had enhanced methods by the 1980s and 90s, and Phillips was working on that. Kahn took those and uh, made his own company, and he would sell it to the highest bidder, and that included Iran, Iraq, and so on. The Chinese got interested in that. These small countries are making uranium for bombs. So they wanted to get in on it. They came up with a simplified bomb that was small, easy to make, and so on. And that was a way to get uh, small countries on their side, so to speak. It's called a Chick Five, I think, and
Mm.
that's what happened.
How did how was Khan operating this global smuggling network to evade detection for over 3 decades? Because he was doing this for so long.
He was doing it with the agreement of certain uh, governments, of course. We're not going to bother you as long as you sell us what we want, and that's the way he operate. He would go straight to the top, get to the government, and give them a reason for wanting him to succeed. In other words, we can outdo the United States, we can outdo Russia, we can outdo China, and it's going to be cheap.
Mm. So he was operating under the basis that countries wanted to come online with nuclear power, nuclear weapons, and he was cutting them a deal that, "Look, this may not be the top of the line stuff, but I'm gonna, I'm gonna be able to get it to you, and you can at least have the material and the infrastructure to build your own bombs."
It was a business model,
Yeah, black market. So you get what you get.
right?
What was what impact did he have on that region? Did Were there countries who essentially were able to come online because of AQ Khan? Did he continue to funnel in these black market nuclear resources? Basically, like, were countries coming online because of him that wouldn't have been able to otherwise if they went about it above board?
Absolutely. It was the program succeeded because of a huge uh, disagreement between Pakistan and India. India, of course, had the atomic bomb. They developed it themselves without a lot of help. They did have Canadian reactors, which helped them a lot. Canadians sold them a can-do, and a can-do can operate as a plutonium production reactor. It wasn't built for that, but if you use it just right, you can make plutonium. And Canadians told them not to do that, but they did it anyway, and they came up with their own uh, independent uh, atomic bomb program. This made China nervous because they share uh, a ground there, and China was afraid that, well, we've got the atomic bomb as long as nobody else has it. But when India had it, then they got really perturbed. So they wanted to help Pakistan on the other side of India get the bomb and keep India under control in that way. So that's why China came up with the bomb design, and uh, Khan had the uh, uranium purification program with his centrifuges. And Pakistan saw the definite advantage of being able to uh, counteract any uh, problem with India, saying, we've got the atomic bomb and you've got the atomic bomb. They were careful to do a test of their bomb that India was certain to record.
Yeah, that seems like a logical next step is that to make something more safe, you introduce more nuclear weapons into the situation.
Right. You make it more dangerous to make it safe.
Yeah. Yeah, why this seems like such a dumb obvious question, but why is it always the case that when superpowers want safety, they tend to increase the nuclear supply rather than work on limiting the supply of nuclear weapons, which would then limit the chances of one going off or one being used to solve a conflict?
But the odd thing about nuclear weapons are it's the ultimate weapon and you can't use it. Because if you use it, you're going to destroy civilization. And is that the point of war? So we have, you know, billions, trillions of dollars worth of research, and we have nuclear weapons that are very, very advanced. They're getting more advanced all the time. We're working on them right now, but we can't use them for anything. So
Yeah,
it's simply a threat that, and I can't think of why we would use it. Uh,
yeah. It is like a dick measuring contest that just has no limit because you
exactly.
can only you can only use so many inches. Like there's no point if someone says I have a 10-inch dick, there's no point in saying, "Well, I have a 25-inch dick." Like
Right.
you can't beyond a certain point it doesn't make a difference with nuclear weapons. What's the difference between having 100 or 100,000 if the world is going to end with one?
Yeah.
If one gets launched and one gets launched back, and then boom, the world's in a fireball. There is this sort of pointless posturing that goes along with developing a nuclear arsenal.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah. Going back to AQ Con, do you think there are other AQ cons out there today running these secret nuclear black markets?
Oh, yeah. It's like cocaine. It becomes a very lucrative way to make money. It's you make a lot of money quick, and if you pay the right people, you can get away with it. What can I tell you? It's
Where
just
do you
another way to make a fortune.
Where do you think the epicenter of the black market is based today? Or is it so dispersed that there's no real central location for black market nuclear weapons?
Well, for some reason, it's not really that popular in the Western Hemisphere, like South America. Now they have all kinds of problems with various regimes, but I don't think anybody there is really thinking about nuclear weapons. Canada, they don't. They'll use some nuclear weapons if they get them from us, but they're not really developing nuclear weapons. Mexico isn't developing nuclear weapons. Uh, but the Eastern Hemisphere, North Korea. North
North
Korea
Korea.
is that's the bad boy. North Korea wants South Korea. And China, unfortunately, obviously has to be helping them because China wants for South Korea to be controlled. They want to take over Taiwan, and they don't want for South Korea to prevent them from doing that. So they're helping North Korea in many ways, giving them design uh, of weapons and weapons delivery systems, everything that they need from rubber for tires to paint on the trucks.